Hey guys, this is Patrick from learnphotoediting.net. In this tutorial we will transform this photo I took in Old Montreal a few years ago into this night scene where we will focus mainly on adding details to the buildings and the streets, work on the shadows and highlights, the color grading to create a photo that looks like it could have been taken at night. And we will also add certain elements to the photo to make it more interesting. Basically create a photo manipulation by adding a guy, some leaves, blowing leaves, and so on. So if you are ready, let's start. Okay, so let's grab our main photo. And since the goal is to create somewhat of an evening scene, I'm going to add a blue hue to this entire image. So I'm just going to create a new layer, and I'm going to choose a nice navy blue color. Here I have this color is 0A2748, and I am going to fill the layer and change the blending mode to color dodge. And you can see the difference. And once we darken the sky, it's going to look even more like it's a little later in the day. Now I see some shadows or parts of the image that are a little too dark, so I'm just going to do a adjustment for that. So a new adjustment layer. I'm going to use curves, and here I am going to create 2 points here. First point, I'm going to put 131 117, second one 199 197, and as you see, the shadows a little bit brighter. Now I entered specific values, but you know, you can certainly play with those 2 points here that will either bring brightness in the shadows or will darken the shadows, and you can fine-tune things to your liking, but this will do for now. Then I'm going to fill the sky with something that looks a little bit better here. The sky here is blown out, there's no details. So let's grab a sky photo that is you can find in the zip file for this tutorial. So select, copy, bring it over, paste it, and then we are going to change the blending mode to darken, and decrease the opacity to 50. First of all, I'm just going to leave it to 100 so we know what to erase. I'm going to create a new layer mask. So you click on this little icon here, and then we are going to use the layer mask to erase with a black brush parts of our image in a non-destructive way that we don't really want. The other option would be to erase with the eraser, but then once you erase, you cannot, unless you go history and so on. But otherwise, if you're too far ahead, you will not be able to go back and change certain things. So it's a good habit to use the layer mask. I'm going to use the black brush, the black paint, and black erase, white reveals. And so let's select the layer mask, and I'm just going to erase what I don't want. Let's sharpen the brush. So you'll see you'll find mostly the sky on anything that is light in color. Anything that is dark, the sky will not overlap. But for example, this roof here, we will need to do some erasing. Let's just see what I'm doing here. Okay. Actually, let's just go back and what is a little easier. I'm just going to take the polygonal lasso tool. I'm going to make a straight line. Like this, and then I am going to use the brush, black brush again, and to make sure I don't go over like this. And I can do the exact same thing here. Let's just see what I need to do. So and let's bring this back. So there you have it. Let's see if there's anything else. We can see that the church need some work. So you see that there is some overlap on the top part of the church. However, if we when we lower the opacity to 50, you can see that it's acceptable, and maybe we can see if, let's put 50, opacity 50, size 35. You see, it doesn't make much difference, so I'm going to leave it like that. Now the goal will be to add details to the buildings and the street here, make them pop more, and one way we can do that, and it is to use the HDR toning effect. And for that we will need to flatten the entire image. So to do that in a non-destructive way, we're going to simply duplicate the image. So image duplicate. And then I am going to flatten the image. If we don't flatten it, if I go image adjustment HDR toning, they're going to ask me if I want to proceed, if I want to flatten it so I can proceed. So I'm going to say yes. And since we only want to improve the details, I'm going to go straight to saturation and decrease it to -100, since we don't need the colors. And I'm going to concentrate on the edge glow settings here. And this is how you are going to, by playing with those, you're going to choose the level of details you want, or also you can also improve the highlights, the reflections of the woods, on the woods for example. And I'm going to just put 70, and as you can see, with the strength you get the strength of the effect. That's too much. I'm going to go with 1 here, kind of a middle ground. And then I'm going to increase the details from 30 to 60%. Gamma exposure, I leave it like that. Shadows, highlights also, vibrance also. But on the toning curve in histogram, I'm going to create 3 points, and I'm going to further play with those points to get the look I want. And here you can create all sorts of variations, bring the image over to our main image, and see which one gives you the best details or the best look. It's not you don't need to have it exactly like I'm going to put it here, but I'm going to put 27, 25. Let's work on the first point first. 27, 25, middle point, which adjust the midtones. Let's put 46, 57, and this point that adjust the highlights, 77, 78. And you can play further with the points, but that will do for us here. So I'm going to click OK, select all, and bring it over, copy, and bring this one over to our main image, paste. And then I'm going to use this one to create details in the buildings and on the street. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the polygonal lasso tool, and I'm going to simply select around this building first. You do not need to be extremely precise here, won't make a difference. And I am going to duplicate this one. I'm going to hide it. I am going to select inverse, and now that we have this building isolated, I'm going to change the blending mode to soft light. And as you can see, we have increased the details on the bricks, but I do not want the effect on certain areas, so which are now too dark. So let's zoom in, create a layer mask, color black, and let's just see the difference. So I'm going to, let's increase the opacity to 100, hardness let's put 20, and I'm going to erase the effect on some areas that are a little too dark. So that goes for the main entrance here. This one. And let's see. Let's decrease the highlights. Like this, and maybe I'm going to put 50% opacity here, and I'm just going to brighten parts of the window. So this is what we get. Then I'm going to do the restaurant just next to it. Let's just select the middle building here. I'm going to duplicate. Let's call our layers, name our layers HDR1. Let's call this sky. And I am going to reveal this one, select inversed, so we delete. I'm clicking delete. You can go edit, clear. So we have isolated the middle building here, and then I'm going to go soft light, and I'm going to decrease this one to 70. And I'm going to create a layer mask, opacity 50%, and I'm just going to see, I'm going to erase some of the effect. What I mainly want is the contrast, the details, not so much the darkening of the paint. So I'm going to take some of that off.